Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a film that came out last year in 2023. It's one that I wanted to see deeply in the theaters and I missed it. It's an Eli Roth film. He wrote it, co-wrote it, I guess. He had the story of it and directed it. And it was also a film based on a short that he made back in the day when the Grindhouse movie with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino came out. In between those two films, they had these little trailers for fake films, like Machete was one of those. This was one of those. This movie is called Thanksgiving, and it is a slasher film in a very 80s type of way. It's not like a modern day Stranger Things situation where you have all this 80s retro neon and bisexual lighting and, you know, music that was very 80s themed and whatever, like a Drive situation. It's more of just a straight out in formula slasher whodunit mystery. And I love that about it. We need to come back to this. Either do more like this or do more like Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 was the highlight of 2022 in my personal opinion. It was incredible. Love it more than this, but Thanksgiving is definitely a classic as well. This was awesome. So what is Thanksgiving about anyway? It's not just an Eli Roth film. Of course, he's the mastermind behind things like Cabin Fever, which I loved. Eli Roth movies rule, in my personal opinion. He's one of those people like Adam Green that every time they put out something new, I really look forward to it because of how much I enjoy those projects. This is basically a very, very gory movie focused around 1 year on Thanksgiving. It was supposed to be the night before Black Friday, but Black Friday over the years carried into Black Thursday, and nowadays either Black Friday doesn't exist or it's over the span of 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the store and retail chain you're talking about. This film addresses a lot of that, sort of. But a family have a store that they run called Right Mart, and we kind of follow the daughter of the owner of this store, who's also a big public figure in this small town area. And at that particular store, Right Mart, there's a bunch of murders on Black Friday, which is really Black Thursday in this case, on the night of Thanksgiving. And it was not a good situation. A lot of people died that particular night. And we skip to 1 year later and following our main girl, who's the daughter of this store owner. And she and her friends, and a lot of people just in general, start to get these threatening messages from this killer who happens to be dressed up like John Carver. He has a John Carver mask. It's just a piece of plastic over his face. Think of Corey Cunningham from Halloween Ends, but, you know, threatening and actually good and great in writing. This killer is a blast. It's very much kind of a mixture of 80s and 90s when it comes to that whodunit nature in a good way, a very Scream way, too. I had a blast with this. If you love gory horror films and gory slasher films that have a good whodunit storyline that make you question all the time who is going to be the John Carver killer, if you will, that's kind of what this is. But it's also very Thanksgiving themed in the way that the killer kills people, the way he attacks people, the situations people get in. I love it. I love the social commentary on Black Friday and Thanksgiving in general, holidays, all of that stuff. It has a lot to say in a great, fun way, and it just knows how to have fun in general. There's some good tension in here. It's a blast. It's one of those films like Terrifier 2 that to me, and I think a lot of the horror community, it's going to be endlessly rewatchable. You know, there's films that want to be this new thing, like Megan, you know, and they can be good, and I like Megan a lot, matter of fact. But this took the cake for 2023. A good friend of mine, and many of my friends in general, a particular good friend of mine said this was probably his favorite horror film of last year, if not his favorite movie in general last year. His two channels, and I really recommend you check him out, by the way. He has one that's a Goosebumps and children's horror kind of theme channel called Goosebumps Completionist. His other channel is Horror FFA. He told me this film would totally be up my alley, based on my kind of stuff that I love, and a lot of the stuff both of us love. He just recommended this constantly, and he was totally right. This is one of the best movies I saw out of 2023, a year where so much shit has been horrible. Everything I've talked about recently has been bad that I missed in 2023, and I wanted to review for you guys. This is one of the few movies that really, really stood out from last year in a great way. Brand new IP that was based on a short film from back in the old, 2008, 2009 year with Planet Terror and whatever the Quentin Tarantino Grindhouse feature was. I can't remember what it's called. But for a film that was just based on a short that had been promised for years, Thanksgiving was in production hell for a long time. Eli Roth either couldn't get the funding or couldn't get it put together, couldn't get a story completely settled the way he wanted it. I'm glad we had the wait we had, because this was awesome. Whether it's a standalone film permanently, which I think it should stay, or if it ever became a sequel series or whatever. I think it's great. I think it's really fun. A little bit too much CGI sometimes, but the practical effects in most of the film's kills are practical effects. Look amazing. They look great, they're fun. The film has a lot of humor and jokes to it, a lot of puns to it involving Thanksgiving. I loved all of that. It was a blast to watch. The characters are fun, the performances from the teens were good. It feels like a return to horror in a way that so many things were not last year, like Insidious: The Last Key and whatever. What a great flick. Thanksgiving is something I recommend highly if you haven't seen it. You totally owe it to yourself to take out the time, check it out, and let me know down in the comments what you thought about it if you already saw it. If you haven't seen it yet, rent it for the $5 on Prime and watch it. This is one that I will be buying a physical copy for my collection because it was so great. It was. Anyway, I thought this was better than Saw X, and I'm a huge Saw fan, and I loved this more than that, so that should tell you a lot about me. Anyway, if I had to rate Thanksgiving on a 5-star basis, I would easily give this a 4 out of 5 stars, a really high 4, where I would almost lean on the border of a 5 out of 5 for it. I don't think I can do that, but I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I feel like a pawn shop owner when I do my ratings anymore. What is it with that? Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Let me know your thoughts about Thanksgiving and my review down in the comments section down below. Thank you, guys. God bless you again, and goodbye.